Appian Certified Lead Developer ACD300 exam dumps questions are the best material for you to study. Share some ACD300 exam dumps questions here. 1. You are required to create an integration from your Appian cloud instance to an application hosted within a customer's self-managed environment. The customer's IT team has provided you with a REST API endpoint to test with. HTTPS linternal network VAPI, API, ping. Which recommendation should you make to progress this integration? A. Expose the API as a SOAP-based web service. B. Deploy the API service into Appian Cloud. C. Add Appian Cloud's IP address ranges low the customer network's allowed IP listing. D. Set up a VPN tunnel. 2. You are tasked to build a large-scale acquisition application for a prominent customer. The acquisition process tracks the time it takes as fulfill a purchase request with an award. The customer has structured the contract so that there are multiple application dev teams. How should you design for multiple processes and forms, while minimizing repeated code? A. Create a center of excellence, CO. B. Create a common objects application. C. Create a Scrum of Scrum sprint meeting for the team leads. D. Create duplicate processes and forms as needed. 3. You are designing a process that is anticipated to be executed multiple times a day. This process retrieves data from an external system and then calls various utility processes as needed. The MAM process will not use the results of the utility processes, and there are no user forms anywhere. Which design choice should be used to start the utility processes and minimize the load on the execution engines? A. Use the Start Process Smart service to start the utility processes. B. Start the utility processes via a subprocess synchronously. C. Use Process Messaging Low-star. The utility process. D. Start the utility processes via a subprocess asynchronously. 4. Your application contains a process model that is scheduled to run daily at a certain time, which kicks off a user input task to a specified user on the first time zone for morning data collection. The time zone is set to the default PM time zone. In this situation, what does the PM time zone reflect? A. The time zone of the server where Appian is intuited. B. The line zone of the user who most recently published the process model. C. The default time zone for the environment as specified in the administration console. D. The time zone of the user who is completing the input task. 5. You need to design a complex Appian integration to call a RESTful API. The RESTful API will be used to update a case in a customer's legacy system. What are 3 prerequisites for designing the integration? A. Define the HTTP method that the integration will use. B. Understand the content of the expected body, diluting each field type and their limits. C. Understand whether this integration will be used in an interface or in a process model. D. Understand the different error codes managed by the API and the process of error handling. Paul. E. Understand the business rules to be applied to ensure the business logic of the data. 6. You are reviewing the engine performance logs in production for a single application that has been live for 6 months. This application experiences concurrent user activity and has a fairly sustained load during business hours. The client has reported performance issues with the application during business hours. During your investigation, you notice a high work queue. Java work queue size value in the logs. You also notice unattended process activities, including timer events and sending notifications emails, are taking far longer to execute than normal. The client increased the number of CPU cores prior to the application going live. What is the next recommendation? A. Add more engine replicas. B. Optimize slow-performing user interfaces. C. Add more application servers. D. Add execution and analytics shards.